We're gonna start with step 1. So I've already rolled slabs and I've pre-cut some of them just to make this faster so you guys can get started. But you would have one big slab like this, and you're gonna start by compressing it with a rubber rib, and that is step 1 on the handout. You can use a rubber rib or you can use the flat end of a metal rib, and I'm just gonna run this over it and just kind of smooth it. And I'm gonna flip it over and do the same thing on this side. And smooth it out. If you're doing any step 2s, if you're doing any texture, like any texture rolling, any stamps, you gotta do it now while it's wet. Okay, so I texture roll the whole thing, or stamp my whole thing. So do that now. I'm not gonna do that. Step 3, I'm gonna trace my template with my needle tool. So I'm gonna take my template, which is just a square, it's a 4x4 square. I'm gonna put it as close to the edge as I can get it, because I wanna use as much of this kind of straight piece that I have. I'm gonna take a needle tool and just trace this, and I'm gonna try to get as many in as I can. And I've found that the best way to do the next one is to try to keep it really lined up, so that then when I cut, I can just cut like a straight line across. I think I'm gonna get 3 in here. Okay, so I've traced 3 of them, that's all I can fit. Now my step 4, eventually I'm gonna need to have 6 though. So I would need to keep my scraps, probably add a little bit more clay, go roll another slab and do it again. I'm gonna cut these out. So I'm gonna cut my squares out with a beveling knife. Trying to be as precise as possible. I feel like it helps sometimes to be looking on the top of it so you can like really see where your knife is going. This is definitely like a precision one. You want to be precise and like cut very carefully. Okay, so I'm gonna save all my scraps. I would, oops, forgot. Take this, add some clay, and re-roll to make 3 more. I've already done that to save us time. Okay, so I've got my new ones. Step 5 is to bevel the edges with a tool, which we have a tool, or a knife. Let me go grab the tool. I'll show you both ways. So this is a beveling tool, and basically what it is, it's like a square edge, and then it has a little piece of wire. And what it'll do is if you keep that square edge, like the corner of your clay in that square edge, the wire will cut it. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna put it flat, like it looks like a T, and the flat part is at the bottom, and I'm just gonna run the beveling tool right along the edge. And then I usually try to put my finger kind of at the end, otherwise it'll sort of chunk off the end of it. And it cuts this really nice, like angled 45-degree angle for you. So you just do this to every single side. Put your finger at the end. Be really careful with these, they're like $5 each, please don't hurt them. There's a long side and a short side, and you want to be using the short side. The long side is if your clay is like taller. Ours is pretty short, so this will work better. Okay. So there's a nice bevel. That's what it should look like. It should have these kind of angled in sides. Another way to do that is with a knife. It just takes a little bit more work. You're just holding it at an angle, kind of like when we cut the connecting pieces for when we roll the slabs around the cups, and we have to cut that at an angle, it's the same thing. You're just kind of cutting at an angle going out. Okay, so you can do it both ways, with a knife or with the tool, but the tool is pretty fast. So once I've beveled all of them, then I am going to score and slip. I have pre-scored and slipped these just to make it fast. So I'm gonna take 3 sides and start to put them together. So I've got scoring already done, but normally I would score them now. I just found it easier just to score all of them at once, like just to score all 4 sides. So I don't have to try to like get in there once there's sides already up, because I'll end up cutting up the sides I don't want to cut, things like that. And then I'm gonna put some slip on there. And for now I'm just gonna do 2 sides. And really press them together nicely. Another one in there too. Oh, I gotta get slip in here. All right. Give it like a really solid press together. Awesome. So it looks like this. And these 2 sides will keep each other kind of solid and up for now. After I do that, I'm gonna roll a small coil. You can use like your scraps that you cut with your bevel to do a coil. They'll be pretty fresh. And you want it to be pretty skinny. Probably about there. And then I'm just going to measure it. I'm going to set it inside here so that it is about the right length to fit inside. And then I'll do the same thing on all of those joints I just made. If your clay is still nice and wet, you don't really need to score that, because you're just putting it in and then you're gonna smooth it all in. It should have a little bit of slip that kind of like came out too as you were pressing. And now I'm going to like smooth all that in. So I'm gonna use a plastic modeling tool, which I don't have one of, so I'm just gonna use a wood modeling tool right now, but you guys would use the green plastic modeling tools. And I'm just going through and taking about half of it and pulling it down. And then half of it and kind of pulling that clay up into the other piece. And I know you all cannot see that, so I'll show you going that way too, but I wanted to show the camera. So eventually it's smoothed in. So I'll do half of it kind of going up into one piece. And the other half going down. Same thing on this corner with this coil. I do it on all of them. And then if I have, which I don't right now, can somebody grab me a rubber rib really fast? Perry, could you go grab or yeah, Hayden, thanks. The cool thing is when this is open, it's really easy to smooth all this out because this looks kind of junky right now. So with a rubber rib, I can go into this part, and usually I would use a little bit of water too. Again, thank you. I just give it like a little spray in there, and then I can take that rubber rib and just kind of run it along the inside here to kind of smooth it. So it looks a lot better, okay? And that's pretty much it. That's how you do your walls. So I would keep going. I would do another wall on this side, coils, another wall on this side, coils, and I'd have a cube with an opening. And then the top, you just press really tightly. The end. So that's the end. Oh, and then the last step 8, you want to go through the edges here once you have your lid on too, and you kind of run this rib along these corners. You guys can all see this.
Next to go.
And that will like sort of firm them up a little bit and kind of perfect them, make them nice and smooth. So you just rub the rib around the corners on the outside. Sound good? Okay, great.